If you've been thinking about moving to Perris, California, before you do, listen, I don't want this to sound like I'm saying, that this is a horrible place. You don't want to move to Perris, because based on my time in the real estate industry and the people that I have worked with here in Perris, that couldn't be more wrong. But there are a few things that you definitely want to be aware of before moving to Perris, because there are some people that might look at this list and say, I love it. Those are the reasons why I moved to Perris. There are other people that might look at that very same list and say, yeah, I don't like that. And the first thing on that list, well, it's the nightlife. Or should I say lack of a nightlife.
In this case seems pretty accurate.
Hey, real quick, if this is your first time here, my name's Jose. I am your SoCal realtor. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, don't hesitate to reach out. My team and I, we have helped many people just like you, and we're here and ready to help you with your real estate needs too. But enough about that. Let's get back to the video. Now, I'm not saying that there's like nothing here. However, if we're being honest, I mean, there's not a lot. Sure, there's a few bars, sports bars that are here in Perris, but if you're looking for a full-on entertainment scene, something like what you might find over in Riverside, you're not going to find that here. Again, as I just said, everyone's a little bit different. I've had people that told me, Jose, that's exactly why I want to look at Perris. I don't want that. I don't want a bunch of bars and nightclubs and everything like that on every street corner. Of course, the opposite is true too, because I've had people told me, that we're not looking at Perris, Jose. Let's look at something else. It's a little too slow. Now, here's the thing I will say about that though, is if you do enjoy getting out, but you don't want all the bars and clubs right there in your own backyard, as I mentioned about Riverside, the good thing about that is it's not like it's that far away. Of course, I'm not saying that it's right up the street either though. No, you're looking at, I don't know, maybe like a 30-minute drive to get to downtown Riverside, where there's a bunch going on, a lot of things to go ahead and go do there. So while it's not necessarily right up the street, it's not like it's that far away either though. Here's another thing that you are going to want to consider if you are thinking about moving here, because there has been a lot of growth here in Perris. Actually, in more ways than one. The city of Perris really has had quite an explosion in growth. If we just going back to the year 2000, the population here in Perris, it was just about 36,000 people, but by 2020, it jumped over 78,000 people here. And as of the start of this year, as of the start of 2025, there are just over 81,000 people here. That is a lot of growth, which obviously can be both good and bad. Obviously, with all that growth, more businesses are looking to come here to the city of Perris. More places to eat, more places to shop, more jobs. Now, some of those jobs that have been coming here, a good portion of them, they have been in the warehouse industry. Now, most of them, the warehouses that are coming here to Perris, at least from what I've seen anyway, I'll put it that way, but most of them do seem to be more centralized to the north side of the city. Of course, if we're being honest though, I mean, that's kind of been a growing theme out here in the Inland Empire. More warehouses, more distribution that has been moving out here. Of course, a common complaint that I have been hearing, and this is not something that's necessarily isolated to just Perris. I mean, this is pretty much true no matter where you go. And again, a common complaint that I do hear is when it comes to the warehouses, when it comes to the distribution centers, and that is the aesthetics of them. They aren't exactly appealing. But from what I've seen, and this is just my own personal observation, I think this is, for the most part, is true across the board throughout the Inland Empire. And Perris, it is definitely no exception to that, because I think they've done a really good job of keeping the residential neighborhoods intact. In other words, keeping things separate. Most of the people that are living here in Perris, they're not going to walk out their front door. They're not going to look across the street and, oh, great, there's a warehouse right there. Or even, look down the street and there's another warehouse down the end of the street. Of course, a couple other factors that do come with that boom in population. First, the traffic. I'm not saying that the city of Perris is unique to this issue. I mean, Southern California, traffic's everywhere. But I am saying, though, that with the boom in the population that has happened here in Perris over the last 20 years, yeah, the traffic has definitely grown. Now, I'm not saying that the traffic is going to be equivalent to what you might find like in LA, or even some of the cities that are here in the Inland Empire, like Riverside, for instance, or even Rancho Cucamonga is another one. Basically, it's not going to be like some of the bigger cities that are here in the Inland Empire, but when your population goes from 36,000 to 81,000, well, there's obviously going to be more cars on the road. Now, in my experience, I would say that the busiest streets that are here in Perris are Really, it's just going to be more of the main ones like the Ramona Expressway, Perris Boulevard, which runs through the from north and south through the top half of the city. I guess you could include downtown Perris. I mean, it does get kind of busy here. I don't know if I would call it quote unquote traffic, but sure. I mean, it's another area that can get a little busy here, especially with the Metrolink that's right here. Do me a favor if you would, if there's a part of Perris, if there's a street here that, you're like, Jose, you missed that one. I mean, the traffic here, it's bad on that street. Do me a favor if you would, let us know in the comments below. And the second thing with the population boom that's happened here in Perris is the home prices. If we go back again to the turn of the century, to the year 2000, the average home price here in Perris, it was only about $200,000. But at the start of this year, at the start of 2025, the average home price, it's up at $530,000. Yeah, that's a pretty big jump. Of course, in all fairness, I don't know if I would say that that's something unique to the city of Perris, because all of California, in fact, actually all of the country, but all of California has seen quite a bit of home price appreciation over the last 20 years. Show me the money! I mean, the average home price appreciation, if we go back to the year 2000, the average home price appreciation, it's gone up by an average of about 5% each and every year, which is what, like a 200% total increase over that time period?
Not bad.
And of course, we can't forget, it does get a little warm here in the summer in the city of Perris. Now, does it get warmer in Perris than the rest of the Inland Empire? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if I would say it's really a big difference in temperatures between Perris and some of the other cities here in the Inland Empire. But if summer temperatures is a reason for passing on the city of Perris, then you're probably going to pass on quite a few cities here in the Inland Empire. Of course, if you do have any questions or if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, my contact information is below. Feel free to reach out. Otherwise, until then, catch you in the next one.